it was at the end of the evening after the show was over, and Bob and Patty and Bob Newworth were having a glass of wine in another room. And Bob came in. I was just saying goodbye to the owner. And Bob handed me a glass of wine. He said, we were talking about a plan of touring with a station wagon. It'd be you, me, and Joan play little gigs, little venues. Could you dig it? I said, yeah, count me in, man.
My wife called me up at a session and said, hey, we got a call from Bob Dylan's office wanting you to come down and jam with him, so it was great, man. And we did that for about 3 weeks. I was driving over every day in Santa Monica and just, going over mostly his brand new songs. We just did that every day. And I remember I was driving down the road and I thought, wow, man, this is like 3 weeks. I wonder when, we're going to get to the end of this. And then I said,
is it clear that this is like an audition or that there's a tour?
No, it's just like, can you come down and jam with us? It's like, sure, I want to come down and jam with you. And I just kept thinking, well, fuck, what is the point of all it? And I knew they were going to go out and do a gig. I knew they were going out on tour, because Spooner Oldham, all the band was there. And but nobody was really saying much about it. And I was like starting to get a little frustrated. And then I told myself on the way down there, I was going, there's 50,000 guitar players who would love to go spend 3 weeks jamming with Bob Dylan and Jim Keltner. What are you griping about?
The suggestion was that I come down and sit in the room by myself and listen to his new record, and then when I'm done hearing it, come upstairs and see Bob. And so I thought, okay, well, that's interesting. So I got to the studio, his studio on Main Street there in Santa Monica, and went in the office. The girl turned the music on. I sat there, and one song after the other just started banging me in the head, pulling at my heart. All the corny things you can possibly imagine, they all started happening to me. So here's Dylan again, making me cry. And it was uncontrollable crying. By the time the whole record was done, I had gone through half a Kleenex box, and I was just wet. My face was, I could just feel that I was kind of a mess. And I knew, though, that I'd been hit really hard. So I went upstairs, and I walked across the room, and I opened the door, which I would never normally have done. And he's sitting there typing. He was sitting at his typewriter, and he looked up, and I said, Bob, I don't know where you're going or what you're going to do, but whatever it is, I want to go do it with you.
Have you heard of this guitar maker, James Trissard? So he's a French guy who makes guitars, metal guitars in LA. And I was in LA, and he's a very old friend of mine. And Tony Garnier went to his workshop, and I was there. He said to James, and to us, I was with James, he said, yeah, we're rehearsing tonight, but I don't know about this player, I don't know. He didn't seem very enthusiastic. So James said to him, you should try Freddy, come on. Half joking, I didn't say anything. I was surprised, Tony was, oh, yeah, I don't know. So he left, and they called me. The day after, they called me.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the poet laureate of rock and roll, the voice of the promise of the 60s counterculture, the guy who forced folk into bed with rock, who donned makeup in the 70s and disappeared into a haze of substance abuse, who emerged to find Jesus, who was written off as a has-been by the end of the 80s, and who suddenly shifted gears, releasing some of the strongest music of his career beginning in the late 90s. Columbia recording artist, Bob Dylan.